Hi everyone, welcome to Intention, your 30-day yoga challenge. My name's Bruce and today is day 3, something we'll call harness. Go ahead and lie down on your back with your feet to the front of the mat. We'll begin right away by hugging the right thigh in towards the belly. Interlock the fingers on the shin bone and pull the thigh in. Your bottom leg, the left leg, is straight and grounding down. Can you feel your left heel pressing in towards the floor? Now let go of the shin and reach your foot up into the sky. Interlock the fingers on the hamstrings. It might be the calf, perhaps the ankle. It's still a little bit early in practice. It very much is early in practice. Just make sure your shoulders are on the floor. And then we're going to point our toes up to the ceiling. And I want you to think of your right big toe drawing large circles so the ankle is able to rotate. Take your time with these circles and also keep your knee and thigh fixed in place. Move in the opposite direction. Let's bend our right knee into the abdomen, hug in, and then release the right leg. We'll draw the left thigh in. Same idea. Fingers interlocked, hugging the thigh towards the belly, right leg straight and strong, pressing down. In today's practice, we will focus on a harnessing of strength. Oftentimes, the strength is already within us, but sometimes we doubt where that is or that we have any. So try to recognize your strength for what it is, where it is. Release the shin, left heel up. Hands are clasped, again, anywhere behind the leg, so long as the knee is mostly straight and the shoulders are down, point the toes. Remembering that strength is relative, draw circles with your left big toe. It's completely relative to where you are. And so really, if we think about it, we're always strong. The experiences that have brought us to this point have cultivated a character that is strong. So please honor and recognize that. Take one more large rotation of the ankle. And then bending the knee as your hands meet the shin one more time, squeezing the thigh. And then release your left heel onto the floor. And then we're going to bend the right knee so the feet are hips distance apart. With your hands, place them at the top of your thighs and with the heel of the palms pushing into the legs just to release a little bit through the front belly, the top of hips. And then we'll straighten the left leg down onto the floor. We're going to lift our right heel so our shin bone is parallel to the mat. Take both of your hands on top of your thigh and then begin to press your right thigh into the palms. And then your hands will resist and they will push back into the thigh. Doing so in equal measure so that really the hands nor the thigh move, but what is a result or what results is a feeling or a contracting of the top of thigh near the hip, maybe even through the right side of the abdomen. Take another breath as your thigh drives into the palms. Release your right leg straight to the ground. And then left knee bends. Have the heel in line with the knee. And then not so much interlocking the fingers, but just having one hand on top of the other. And then start to feel your left thigh pushing into the hands. The elbows will be slightly bent, but imagine you're trying to straighten the arms, trying to push the thigh away. Now in this instance, between the leg and the arms, likely your arms will be stronger, so focus a bit more on the thigh. Focus actually on the top of your hip. Can you generate some of that strength? Harness some of that strength so your thigh is pushing more strongly into the palms. And release. Left leg straight to the floor. Let's once again bend both knees, feet flat, hips width. Okay, take your hands, rest them on the tops of your thighs near your hips, and then curl your tailbone off the mat. Lift the pelvis away from the floor, and just see how high your hips can come up in this position. Push down through your heels. Now with your hands, lightly push down into the legs like you're trying to push the thigh bones down, and then thigh bones meet that resistance and push up. So notice there's that harnessing of strength. The strength is coming from the glutes, it's coming from the backside of the legs. Can we come up a bit more? And then start to lower down one vertebra at a time, feeling like your hands actually slide up the knees. Once your buttocks is on the floor, take knees into chest, lift feet to sky, and then rock yourselves up towards a seated position. And we'll come over our knees and step into a downward facing dog pose. So if you need to, do look forward towards your hands, set them around the distance of the shoulders. And then whether it's your first fingers or middle fingers that are parallel, do try to have those fingers in line with the outer part of the shoulders. Okay, if that makes sense. So in this case, because my first fingers are parallel towards each other, I'm going to think of having the index fingers in line with the outer shoulders, just so I have the space, more freedom within the shoulders. Relax the neck and push back through your thighs. Let's take one more long breath here. Look towards your hands, and with your right foot, step forward. Come up onto the tips of the fingers, and then just for a moment, lift the chin, gaze out in front of you. Can we start to push our right heel more actively into the floor? And as your right heel presses down into the mat, just notice where you start to feel some reaction. Okay, maybe the hamstrings, maybe the glute, and we'll step the left foot forward. Okay, feet around, hips distance apart, forward fold. Let's lift the chin, inhale, find length to the spine, and exhale, folding. Okay, we'll do that one more time. Inhale into Ardha Uttanasana. So think, spine moves away from pelvis, hold here, release your hands to the sides of your hips, firming the elbows slightly in. Lead with your chest and rise all the way to standing. Once we're standing tall, lift the arms over the head and bring your right thigh up into the chest. Find balance. Interlock the fingers on the shin. You can point your toes up, continue to point the toes up, or point them down. See which one works for you. Pushing firmly through the big toe mound of your left foot, seeing if you can maintain stability through your ankle. Let's now release the shin and place our hands on top of our right thigh, just as we did when we were lying on our back. Thigh pushes up into the hand. Hands try to push the thigh down, but again, try to minimize the actual movement and focus more on the action. Keep your right leg as it is, release both of your arms in the air, inhale. On the exhale, place your right foot on the floor and bend your knees towards a chair pose, lift the chest higher. Fold over your legs, exhale. Have your hands lining with the sides of your feet, and then with your inhale, peel the chest away from the thighs, step back to plank. Okay, hold strong in your high plank pose. Without moving your hands, so they're placed shoulders distance, you've got the choice of index fingers or middle fingers parallel. Keep the hands fixed in space, but rotate the upper arm bones as though you want the inner biceps to face each other. Take one last breath. Downward dog, do exhale. Okay, we're gonna hold this down dog for about 3 to 4 breaths. And then for those of you who feel a slight pull in the back body, I would suggest bending the knees a touch, just to find a bit more lift or a bit more tilt in your pelvis. I always like to think of the bottom fold of the buttocks drawing up and away from the heels and more towards the sky. Take one last breath here. Let's look to the space of the hands. With your left foot, step forward. Make it soft, make it light. Come to the tips of the fingers and then inhale for a moment, lift the chin. With your exhale, push the left heel down. So this is more of an I won't call it energetic action, but it's more of an action that our heel is pressing into the floor so that we can find a response in our hamstrings and glutes. Can you push down more actively? Then right foot comes forward, the feet hips distance. Let's find length right away. Breathe in. And with the exhalation, bring your ribs closer to the knees and your nose, almost like it wants to move between the calves. We'll rise all the way to standing. Inhale, lift the arms and look up. And then with the exhalation, we'll take our left knee into the chest, interlock the fingers on the shin bone. So for some of us, this will right away challenge our balance. So feel into the bottom foot and you'll push through the heel, just like we did when we were in the lunge. And you'll also ground through the big toe and baby toe mounds of that foot. Sometimes it's helpful to lift the toes completely off the floor. Now, maintain the lift of the thigh, but let's release the hands and rather place them on the top of the thigh bone. And then gently push the thigh down, but then the thigh meets the resistance of the hands and it pushes up. And similarly, you will feel a contraction, hopefully through the the front of the thigh, the top of the hip, even through the left side of the abdomen. Keep your leg lifted, release your hands in the air, and then start bending your right knee so the left foot can meet the floor, finding a chair pose. Stay here as we pull the buttock bones back, lift the chest higher, lift the arms, and then fold over your legs. Exhale. So with the forward fold, don't worry so much about the legs being straight. Okay, let the focus rather on your ribs, trying to make contact with the thighs. And that might mean for some of you, there's a generous bend of the legs. Yeah, and then from that position, you can begin to energetically draw the buttock bones higher. Take one more breath, crown of your head to the floor. And then inhale, lift the chin, look forward. Let's find ourselves in plank. Hold that plank position. Think crown forward, sternum forward. Base of index fingers, tips of thumbs pressing down. A slight rotation of the arms like we want the inner biceps to face front. Take one inhale, down dog, exhale. Okay, look towards the space of the hands, right foot forward, make it light. And then here we can lower the back knee down. Very gently lower your back knee to the floor. And then we'll place both of our hands on top of the right thigh. So as we did in one of our previous classes, I think it was on day one, we haven't gotten that far anyway, but squeeze the front heel and back knee together. Okay, so that's the stability of your foundation. And then as we stay a bit longer, right, your hands are pushing down onto the thigh, but can you feel like your thigh is actually trying to push up into the palms? It might be a bit more subtle to access. Remember this idea of harnessing? Then release your hands as you stretch them high into the air. Inhale, and then hold that position as you interlock the fingers and turn your palms high into the sky. Elbows a bit straighter, and think of your index fingers pointing directly up. Lower both of your hands, down dog. Exhale. Okay, stay where you are, breathe in. And on the exhale, press back through the tops of your thighs. Look to the space of the hands, left foot forward, make it light. Right knee meets the floor, and then our hands come to sit on top of the thigh. First, left heel pushes down like we did earlier. Right knee grounds down, you squeeze together. Feel like you're scissoring the legs. Now with your hands pushing against the thigh, start to feel like your left thigh can meet that resistance and press up, as though you were trying to lift the foot off the floor. Hold strong in the legs, but then stretch those arms high into the air. Interlock the fingers together, rotate the palms so they start to face more upwards. And when I say index fingers to the sky, I'm really trying to get you to turn the palms a bit more high. Straighten the elbows, pull in through the waist, arm bones back. Lower both of your hands to the floor, down dog. Shin tetamba. Taking a full breath in. Lift the underside of the arm bones, hollow the abdomen, exhale. Look towards the space of your thumbs. We're gonna bring the right leg forward like we're crossing the legs, and then the left leg behind so that the legs are crossed, and sit down. Slide your feet out in front of you. The feet are around hips distance to start, and the heels far enough away from the buttocks that your spine can be upright. Okay, so for example, if I bring my heels closer to me, notice there's a rounding in my lower back. So I want to have the feet far enough away that I'm able to connect with more of the natural curve of my low spine, and it will feel a bit strong here through the front of the thighs and the front of the hips for some of us. We'll tuck the hands behind the knees, and once you're holding onto the legs, draw up through your breastbone. And then start to walk the tips of your big toes a little bit closer to the buttocks whilst maintaining the length of the side body. And then lift 1 and then 2 feet. And then as you hold here, bring the inner legs together. And if you feel stable and you would like to try, stretch forward through your arms. Navasana boat. Hold here, take an exhalation. Keep your feet lifted, hold the backs of the knees, bring the thighs closer to the stomach, press your heart towards the thighs, and then feet flat on the floor. Let's set the hands behind our backs. Hands are shoulders distance apart. Press into the hands, elbows straight, open the chest. Curl your tailbone and lift your hips into reverse table pose, gazing towards the ceiling or chin to throat, looking forward to the thighs. One breath here, make sure the feet are flat, and slowly lower your hips. Cross your right leg in front of left, twist to the right. Come to center, switch the crossing of the legs, so left in front, and twist to the left. And come back to center, and as you release the twist, we'll join the hands together, close the eyes. Most certainly you might feel the energy or the heat within your body a little bit higher, and complement that with a slow breath out. Feel the balancing effect of your exhale. Notice the energy or the shifts that you've created just in harnessing your strength, tapping into an energy that sits within you. Together, breathe in, open the mouth. Thank you all for joining in day 3. Namaste. See you tomorrow.